Hello everyone. Just want to kind of give you a brief overview of FiStatus. So today I launched FiStatus, and so far it's been incredible. A lot of signups, a lot of questions, a lot of personal calls, texts, emails. It's been absolutely amazing, and I really appreciate it. Let's just jump right into it. So I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of the site and then the dashboard. So this is your home page. We won't go over this much because most people kind of just fly over this, which is perfectly fine. I just want to kind of show you a little kind of behind the stories of FiStatus. So this here is kind of my story and the reason why I created it. I kind of did a little intro here, and then I started talking about my financial goals. Step one is to understand my finances, but I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on that with creating, with FiStatus and creating my chart and things like that. The next part of my goal was to reduce my expenses, and I spent a lot of time doing that. I'll talk later about this in some kind of blog post or video about how I went about reducing my expenses. I talked about a little bit here, but I'll go into much more detail. My current goal is to pay off debt with interest rate above 15%. I can show you exactly what debt that is. We'll talk about that here in a second once we go to the dashboard up here. The next part is build an emergency fund, then become debt-free, and invest my monthly surplus of my income, and then eventually become financially independent. And then down here below I have frequently asked questions. Am I nuts? I think I am. Is the dashboard my real information? It absolutely is my real information. Why did I build this? How can you help out? So that feel like something's kind of important that I think a lot of people maybe have not seen or not have read. But let's jump right into the meat of it. Let's go over the demo. So this is a dashboard. It's pretty simple. It's like most dashboards here. On the left-hand side, we talk about the net worth. And your net worth is essentially your assets minus your liabilities. Your assets are being things that you own, such as your house or jewelry or just cash, right? And your liabilities are essentially your debts, your loans, right? And then we have cash flow over here, which is your income minus expenses. Income is, like your 9-to-5 job, your whatever else, and expenses there is, your electric bill or your food bill and things like this. And at the bottom, we can see that there's a health score, and this is kind of a proprietary formula that I've created, and essentially once you enter your information, it kind of gives you a health score, and it tells you kind of what to focus on, and the range is from 0 to 30. Obviously, I'm at -9 right now. I have 0 hearts. My health score is pretty much dead. It's okay. I'll work on it. Let me go to cost of debt. So this is actually what is costing me a month to maintain this debt. And one of the things I do is I include the math on these, right? So you can understand where this information is coming from. So cost of debt per day is the balance of all my debt, right? Times the interest rate divided by how many days in a year. So the percentage of what this chart is here is basically income per month divided by the cost of debt per month. So if we review this, I basically spend it's costing me $66 a day in just purely paying interest. That's not going to the principal. So it's $2,000 a month. That's a house payment that I could be paying instead of paying interest on these debts. It's insane, but it's really cool. This is why I like having this here, and I think this is why it's important. There's also debt to limit. This here is, so 44% of my available credit is basically occupied, and this is not necessarily so true to be case per individual, and I'll talk a little more about that as we go over liabilities. Essentially, I have $35,000 with credit card debt, and my limit is $80,000. This doesn't look so bad, but it's actually a lot worse when you compare the individuals. And then once again, I talk about the math on how it's calculated, and then I also have this, these little hints to talking about, where those figures are coming from. So my debt to income. So this is for my last month, right, for October. My monthly debt, how much I had to pay towards paying down my debt, was this much money, and this is how much my income was. So I actually had to pay more in my debt than I did actually should be higher, I think. I'll check the math on that. But anyways, I'm paying a lot of debt. And then once again, here's the math on this. And this is a credit score. And this credit score here, you actually get 3 of them, and we'll talk about this in a second. But I take the medium, and that's basically what, when you go to get a mortgage, that's what they do. So lender companies are using the middle score. So either one of these, you can click on the title, or you can go up to the top here and you click stats. They all go to the same thing. And so here we see October, we see September, and we have house score again. We had cost of debt, debt to limit, debt to income, and these are the 3 credit scores I was talking about. So they take the median one. So if I was to talk to a lender, they would probably take this TransUnion one as as my one. It looks like last month they would have chose my Equifax. So this is part of it. So once again, you can click into all these aspects and see all of them. You can go all time, past year. Since this information is only past 2 months, it's not that much. That won't change much. But this here will hopefully look a lot prettier. The goal is obviously to see the assets to go up, the net worth to go up, and liabilities to go down, cash flow, income to go up, and expenses to go down. And sort of did that a little bit this past month. All right, so let's go into this target here, which is your net worth. You can see that I have my assets here, my liabilities here, and then my net worth here, and I can break it all down, right? So this is not being pulled in right. Well, it's okay. We just launched today, not that big of a deal. So numbers being duplicated, no big deal. All right, so you can see that the real estate, as far as my assets, actually went down to last month, no big deal. The vehicles stayed the same, which is very common. Liabilities, I paid down a credit card, so that went down a little more than $1,000, which is pretty awesome. My loans went down about $7,000 because I paid some of that off. And then we start changing, so the change of my net worth month to month. So there's a $30,000 change from last month, which is 39% change, which is interesting. And then I also show the math on this and how it's being calculated. So you can do this for yourself if you want to. So from any one of these, you can actually click into it. So let's go into assets here. So you can see the assets. I have a total of $303,000 in assets, 764 liquid, $1,200 in retirement, and $264,000 in real estate, and 37 vehicles. So the liquid, you can see I have 3 checking accounts. I have 1 checking account that I use purely for incoming. That's where all the money comes in. And then the things that require like credit card bills, I have that in an outgoing account. And the reason why I do that is just I like to know what's coming in, what's going out, and I like to be able to control that. For example, I'm negative $320 this month in that account. If that was a part of this account, I'd be screwed and I wouldn't have any money. So yes, I get dinged on it, but at least I have more control of it. I also have a property that I have $21 in there, which is really fine. It's a lot lower than I normally do. I like to at least have 1 or 2 months of back into it, but time has been rough lately. It's fine. So retirement, I have 3 accounts. I have a Vanguard account, a brokerage, SEP RA, 401k. This is all I have left in those. No big deal. We'll build those over time. Real estate, I have this 1 property here. The balance on the mortgage is this. And this is my equity into it, my interest rate. You can see my purchase date. This is my principal, interest, tax, and insurance, right? This is my investment gain, because my initial investment was $300. And I can talk about this a little bit of time as well. NRI, ZRI. So this is for this month. And then we can also go back. So you can see that this is now in September, and we can see what September's look like. And if we click over, we're still in September. We can also see it in the URL up here. All right, so this is kind of more of my assets. Let's go to my liabilities here. This is not fun. All right, so I'm negative $306,000 total, $35,000 credit card, $320,000 loan, $26,000 in taxes. This loan number seems a lot bigger and scarier. That's because I have that real estate in there, and I'll show you that in there. So here you can see all my open, all my close, right? And so here's my balance, my limit, minimum per day, cost per day, debt to limit ratio or loan ratio, my interest rate, and when it opened and when it closed on the other ones. And I also had notes in here like 0% until 11/15, then 23%. All right, so let's go over this Chase Sapphire card, right? I love Chase; they've been great bank to me. All right, so I'm pretty much maxed out, right? My debt to income loan ratio is 99%, and you want to keep this, I think, around 20% or lower. And I'm just getting destroyed on my credit right now because I'm basically maxed out on this credit card. That's horrible. This 1 credit card per day basically cost me a nice venti iced coffee. To just have money in that bank, or to take that debt out, it's costing me a coffee every single day. It's insane. This is where people fail to recognize how bad and how dangerous debt can get, right? So if we go to loans, I have the vehicle loan. I have these personal loans. This stuff I had to refinance during the past. So here's our real estate loan, 230. So if we minus that 230 from this 320, it's still not a pretty number, but at least you have a little better understanding of like, oh, this is a $230,000 loan because it's a real estate loan, while these three are just because of bad things in the past. And then I also have my taxes on here. I have some back taxes I owe. I wasn't the smartest with some of that stuff. I paid other stuff. That's actually another conversation for another day. So I'm not too worried about this. The IRS has been an absolute breeze to work with, and they've actually been one of the easiest people I owe money with to reduce my interest rate and to reduce my minimum payment. They've been absolutely great. And you can see with 3% interest rate, that's only $11 per day on it's $1,000. But this $23,000, right, that I owe them with 3% interest, that's 90 cents per day. But let's go back to this credit card real quick, and let's see, that's 3% at $23,000. So if we go to this 2,000, that's not. Let's go. This 15,000, right, at 11% interest rate, that's $4, right? You can see how quickly that just that couple point, that triple the point up or whatever. It's crazy how much this cost per day is. All right, so that was our net worth, right? Once again, you can see all the high overview over here. Now, if we go to cash flow, this is your income, so what you've earned, and your expenses, what's costing it. So let's dive into your income, or my income, really. So this month, or last month, I guess, October, we're in November now, I generated $2,000 from freelancing. I was in the Air Force, and I get a check every month for that. I have two friends that are my T-Mobile plan, each pay me $50 a month. So I have that as another category. Also, I sold a toolbox to a friend of mine. She's paying me $100 a month. I have that rental property, which has produced $2,500 a month. And I also have a rental property in New York, which this past month only produced me $180 because I'm subleasing that out, which is fine. And then we can see that like last month I made this much money, had previous tenant owed me this much money, so that's why this money was a lot more. I also made a little more money from that New York income. So this is all about my income, right? And then let's go over expenses. So we have three categories. We have fixed, variable, and irregular, right? Fixed are things that occur all the time. So my T-Mobile payment, all my debt, right? My hosting, my IRS payments, my gym memberships. This is stuff that comes in basically every month. It's expected. And we'll go over. And then variable is stuff that I'll look quickly over. My coffee, about $40. I try to spend. I eat basically about $45 a day. And food, I eat a lot. I'm 6'6". I eat a ton. And irregular are things that don't really have any kind of consistency to them. Like my vehicle maintenance, maybe $250 a month. That's oil changes, if it's a flat, I need a car wash, whatever. And plus, it's a 2003, so it's an older vehicle. I need to put money aside for repairs and parts and things like that. And vehicle insurance, it pays every 6 months I have to do. So I try to put $35 aside every month for that. So let's go over to fixed, right? So here I have all my due dates. I know if it's auto payments. I know where it's paying from. And then if it's not an auto payment, I know why I should be paying it, right? And then, yeah, so this is kind of just all of my stuff. And I can go through here and I can see what type of stuff. So I have this like the business expenses, none of the stuff for FiStatus yet, but I have my credit cards, I have my loans, and I have just your personal items, right? And then the tax and utilities. I can also see, how much it costs me every month. This is the cheapest thing I have. The most expensive thing was this, the mortgage, and then my personal loan, right? Credit card. Basically everything is super expensive, all debt. All right, so variable expenses, like I said earlier, coffee. I feel bad going to a coffee shop and not buying coffee, so this is basically a small fee to work out of a coffee shop. So yeah, this is essentially what FiStatus is doing, and like I said, I've been doing this before, like on Google Sheets. I'll plan on releasing something in the future where anybody can use that for free. The problem I had, and you can actually, the problem I had was especially with expenses, where I just had trouble updating all this stuff every month, and it was driving me nuts, and it gave me a bunch of anxiety to log into all those accounts, and there's so many different passwords. So this here is just atomizing everything like that. Another part that I just really love that I couldn't do in Google Sheets or Excel is have this. I had a sheet that had charts, but it wasn't as pretty and it wasn't as in sync as this, and it wasn't easy as update. And so this just makes my life easier. So when when you go to sign up for FiStatus, when I fully launch it, you basically just will have to enter some of your bank details in the beginning, and then we automate everything. And then you can see at the bottom, you can see last updated October 31st. And then at the end of every month, we just take a snapshot. So this is essentially how and what FiStatus is. And like I said, I've had a great time building it, and today has been an amazing launch so far. I'm really excited for it, and I'm really looking forward to see where this goes. And if anybody has questions, or if there's anything I can help you with, or if you have any feedback, if you're an accountant, if you love numbers just as much as I do, please comment. Please let me know. The more that I can improve this, it just helps the members, and it also helps myself. So selfishly, let me know. I would love to be better at this. But once again, thanks so much for everything, and I look forward to continue working on FiStatus. All right, have a good one. Bye.